Hello, subscribers and and future constituents. Like I'm a political advisor or a political person running politics, which I'm far from that. But good evening, everybody. I'm coming from an incredible building that builds our Incrediboxes here in East Tennessee, Newport. Tonight I come with you just to share a little bit about what's going on with a few of our communities, a little bit of, I don't know, maybe I hope maybe an eye-opening couple things that might get you guys, your eyes open and your blood running and getting encouraged about a few things. And probably, I guess what I'm doing is I'm digging up and giving you the foundation of what I'm about and where we're going. Because I've been really busy here lately about the last couple months. As you guys know, I've been all over the country. I've been to Nevada, I've been to Abbeville, South Carolina, I've been to Arizona, I've been to California, and I'm back here in Tennessee and going back out to Crystal, Nevada again. And the reason I'm doing that is I'm trying to build communities across the country here, which was a dream of mine when I first started the company. Believe it or not, when I built my very first tiny home, the very first one, I thought, because I built it all myself and I built it in about 3 or 4 weeks, and I thought this is a very simple construction that anybody can do. Men, women, children, and we've had high school kids build our houses. And I was excited about it. And I always wanted a manufacturing company. I didn't know how to get there. I didn't know what I was ever going to manufacture. I don't want to manufacture mobile homes. I don't want to do that. I wanted to do something very special. I don't want to manufacture big houses. I want to manufacture tiny homes on wheels. So one of what that set forth for me when I built my first one was I thought this can be done efficiently and I think quickly and keep the cost down. Of course, you guys all know the story about 9 years ago when I started in a men's backyard. You know, I looked at Tumbleweed. Tumbleweed was about 65 grand. Gorgeous home, great marketing plan. They got a lot going for them, a lot of money, a lot of backing, a lot of technology and engineering and people and history and all that stuff. They're the big line in the room. But it was just a lot of money, you know. And just like the underdog of anything, you come in, there's going to be a young buck come in the room and he's going to say, "How can I take down the big lion?" Right? Well, I wasn't going to try to take him down, but I knew that, you know, there's got to be a way we can build homes a lot cheaper than $65,000 that are 16 foot long. Well, I've been doing that, and of course you guys can see behind me is another way that I'm continuing to do that by selling now the Attabox for $15,000. Our Incredibox is $20,000, 16 foot long, and our Incredibox, it's 20 foot long, is $25,000. So we're still got that same vision, the same foundation that we started at, is to try to create and maintain affordable housing. Well, what that led into is places to put the homes. People were like, "I don't know where I'm going to put this house, Randy. My state, my county, my city, my parish, or my village does not allow us to have tiny homes." If it's the codes inspectors, the mayors, the political people in charge think that tiny homes are built out of cardboard, they're built, unprofessionally and maybe not safe, maybe not wired safe. Maybe they're a health hazard, right? Or maybe they're just plain ugly. And we don't want that to bring down the property values of our town. Lord knows what's going to happen if you put tiny homes in backyards. It'll start looking like shantytown. And I'm sure that's what our politicians and our well-to-do people that live in our towns and cities think that that's what's going to happen. Well, I try to bring that to rest, because I realize that when in a time that we live in, you can't just be a ravaged renegade and do what you want, because you'll be eaten alive and you'll be stomped and you will not flourish and you won't benefit anybody doing that. So I thought, what is a way that we can make this where these tiny homes are built cost effectively, they look good, they're built to code, and they're built strong, and they're built to the engineering specs where that building inspector in that town, city, or state can say thumbs up if he has the patience and he has the humbleness to be able to open his mind to it and say, yes, it is built exactly like the engineered specs. Now, if you get that, and then we build them that looks not only like a tiny home, they look like a tiny home. Like a big house shrunk down with all the soffits, the eaves, and you know where I'm getting at is our Birmingham, Charleston, and our model line, and our new Woody line coming out. So these homes look like homes. They look like houses, right? So I tried to say, hey, you know what? These little houses would be proud to be going into a little town like Abbeville, a historical, beautiful architectural home or town. There's little towns dotted like that all over country. It's not just Abbeville. There are gorgeous towns all over this beautiful, beautiful country we live in. I know back up in Michigan where I'm from, there are gorgeous historical homes, pre-Civil War towns that are beautiful, beautiful. I became inspired by the towns in California of the exposed rafters, the exposed soffits, and all these corbels and dormers and the pitches and arches that just were so prevalent out there in the 20s and 30s, and how architecturally solid and strong they looked. And I thought, wow, how can I bring that architecture into tiny homes? And we've done that. So on my quest to continue to build homes, I've had to now become a land developer. I had developed land previously in a resort that I owned and built. And when I say that, every time I cringe inside, because somebody's going to say, oh, he had all kinds of money, he had a resort and land and all. I wish so much I had a picture, a motion picture of my life behind me to show you where I came from. And a lot of you guys know a little bit about me. I've shared it a ton of times. And I think I'm going to share more about that. Maybe I may fool around with a little podcast, just because I think it's important for everybody to know that you do not have to be a rich man or woman. You do not have to come from any kind of money or prestige to become anything in this country. And you know that's what this country is built on? This country is built on people, common people, being able to do the uncommon thing. We have the freedom to be who we want to be, right? We have the freedom of choice. And we can forge with hard work and determination and nonstop fortitude, we can become anything we want to be. That is what this country's built on. It's what I'm built on. It's about what gets me out of bed. And where else can you go and have an opportunity to do this? Does our country have problems? You sure does. It has all kinds of problems. And you know what? Any family in this country has problems. Every family has problems. We have personal problems. We have problems with moms and dads and kids and relatives. Yeah, but you know what? We're still a family. And we stay a family and we keep going. And we don't stop because of the one thing we are. We're a family and we keep moving because we have to live and we want to prosper and we want to be something. We have life in us. We have this determination and passion to live out our lives as the biggest, best we possibly can. If you want to live out your life in a corner over here, that's fine too. That's what this country's made out of. You can live a quiet, peaceful little life. Or if you want to come over here and be as prosperous or in between, it's a freedom. And I love that. To me, freedom came from education, which was so hard for me to come by, and I got an education. The second one was land, was dirt. You had to own dirt to be anybody. I was raised in a little bitty subdivision, and my dad didn't have anything. My mom and dad bought a house for $13,000 in 1959, and in 1982, they still owed money on it. Sure enough, they never paid it off. And all it was a little square patch in the subdivision that had a 900 square foot house. And it was a beautiful home for us, raised me, and it was home, right? But in my life, I always wanted more. I wanted land. I thought, man, Dad, why didn't you get land? Why didn't you buy a farm? Why didn't you do something, you know? I always thought, maybe in all the movies I watched, it was like, if you got land, you're somebody. Well, I ended up getting out of college, got married, rented for about 5 years. I was like, man, I'm just tired of renting apartments and homes and everything. And so I met a gentleman. I was working in a store, and he said, you're not going to have a thing in life unless you get into a budget system. And he said, you need to take out an envelope and you need to write every single bill you have on that envelope. From you got bills you don't even think about you got bills. From buying a t-shirt, from taking your wife out to dinner, for buying breakfast, Christmas, birthdays, car repairs, you name it, you got to have an envelope for it. And sure enough, I took that envelope system and I took my paycheck and I cashed it and I put all my money in different envelopes. And within a year, we saved $15,000. I took that $15,000 and bought 7 acres of land over here in Strawberry Plains, Tennessee. Then I went to the Teachers Credit Union and I borrowed $30,000 to build a house. And they all laughed at me walking out the door. They did. They just shook their head. They said, Randy Jones, nobody can build a house for $30,000. 8 months later, the most rain Tennessee had ever seen was in 1989 when the water was coming over the spillways of every dam in the Tennessee Valley. 8 months later, I built the house, walked into it. It was 3,000 square feet. I cut the trees with a chainsaw, took the logs to a sawmill, cut them all up. You're going to say, hey, nope, the chainsaw was borrowed, and the truck I bought, I traded my pickup truck for a 1958 GMC dump truck. Would barely run, and I got it going, and that's what I logged that entire 7 acres and built my house. I cut the glass and made my windows. I did everything, wiring, plumbing, you name it. Had a friend help me for a little bit, sheetrocking. 95% of the whole house I did personally by myself. I lost feeling in my left hand for a year because it went numb swinging a hammer. I lost feeling in my foot, numb for a year, walking on the side of the roof, putting the insulation and the beams in the metal on them. But I was 29 years old and I absolutely was engorged with knowing that I was going to have a home for my family, and I couldn't afford it because I was a school teacher. School teachers don't make money, and I wasn't complaining because I love being a school teacher. Well, then after that, I learned that I really love building, and I got into building. You know, I sold that house 5 years later for $160,000. And that envelope system bought that land, paid for that house, and got me over there to 160 acres. Didn't buy that land to develop. I bought that land to raise 2 boys on and to have a quiet life. One thing led to another. I was talking to developing the land, and I kind of regret that I ever did, but I ended up developing the land, and 10 years later, it was worth $12 million, had 73 homes, 4 miles of roads, 2 offices, featured in Southern Living magazine. It's a lot of work, and I did it. And it was just purely work. And then nobody gave me any money. I borrowed the money from the bank. Well, when 08 hit and the country fell down to the ground, the bank I was working with embezzled the money, and FDIC, they didn't bail me out like they're bailing everybody out up here at the Silicon Bank. Nope. They called my note due, line of credit, and I had to walk. 30 days later, I had went through a divorce 2 years prior to that, and there I was in my buddy's camper on my buddy's piece of property. All right, starting all over, there you go. But I wanted to tell you just a real quick scenario that I didn't come from any money and I acquired. Look at this building. This building is from doing work, doing what you're supposed to do, and doing the best you can do. Have I made mistakes? Lord, yeah, I've made mistakes. And I've done my best that I can possibly do. And I've got good people behind me. I got good men, good women behind me that are honest, that are hardworking. We're doing the best we can. And this is what happens when you do. Well, back to the issue about land is that when I came here to Newport, the reason I came to Newport, Tennessee is because Newport offered me 34 acres to buy. It was $180,000, and they said, give me $20,000 down, Randy, and I was scrounging to get 20 grand. And we'd already been in business about 4 years. Well, I came up with the 20,000, and then I could make payments. There was no credit check, nothing. They were beautiful. They were absolutely wonderful. That was an opportunity. That was like Americans helping Americans. They didn't care what color I was. They didn't care if I was a man or woman. They didn't care. They said, hey, here's an opportunity, and I'm serious. It didn't matter what I was. They just were excited that we were bringing something to their town. Oh, hey, buddy. And so we worked here. My son and I built the first building out of scrap lumber, and you know the rest of it. We've been here 4 years, and this is what we've been able to acquire without any investors, bankers, or anything. It is hard to do this business because you never have enough money. You're always trying to look forward. You know, we don't have any guarantees that people are going to keep buying our homes. So we got to keep marketing. We got to keep building. And one of the ways is to create communities. And the communities have been coming has turned into a quite of a, I don't know, an exciting event, because now that we've got communities here on our land, right here where we produce homes, and then we acquired 160 acres across the street. It's been exciting, and I've been able to meet a lot of people that's changed a lot of lives. And my whole quest is to rent these lots out for people, just the dirt. I just want to lease the dirt because it's the least amount of responsibility for me. I'm not going to be responsible for the home. I'm not responsible for, I used to own rental cabins, right? And it was like owning a hotel. The water, the lights, and everything that was going on. It was just, oh my God, it was just constantly, keeping upkeep and maintenance. So we build homes, we're under a warranty, but then when we put them on this lot, I want $200 a month. And I thought, you know what? If I make it $200 a month, people that are on a fixed income, people are on a low income, people that can come here and afford affordable house, $200 a month, they can live here economically for the rest of their life. All you have to do is pay $200 a month, and that's all I've asked. And that's what we're doing. We have not changed one single thing, even though there have been outrageous things said about all the things we're doing. And I've just learned something. You know what? No matter where we go, what we do, if you venture to do anything different in this world other than what everybody else is doing, you're going to have opposition. And Lord knows I've had opposition probably since the day I was born. And I've done nothing but try to do the right thing. I've tried to be the most polite, kindest, humblest man and try to do what I've always said I would do in life. And with that always comes opposition. And for what reason, I have no idea. But it does. And I've learned to accept it. So we've got these communities going here. And then we were going to do City Park. Well, let me explain to you about land and how it happens and how we have to do as a company. I hope this, I hope this doesn't bore you too much, but this is just, if you're thinking about investing in this company, you're investing in this story right here. You need to invest in what I'm saying, and this is how we run this company and where we're going as a company. Okay? So when you buy land, you have to have the money to buy land. You got people that need lots. It takes millions of dollars to put water, power, and sewer in. And to have the freedom to be able to give people a dream of $200 a month. So when I get land, I was fortunate here that the city gave us this land for $20,000 down and making payments. And they didn't care if I developed the land. It was just worth more. And if I ever went bankrupt, they got all that investment, right? They didn't care. Go, Randy. We're in the county. We're not in the city. They didn't have any restrictions. They only had engineering on the sewer and electrical. And that's pretty much everywhere in rural counties. And we did it. We did it properly. We did the way we were supposed to do it. And the way I was doing it, as you guys all know, I said, hey, I'm going to put a community in. I've estimated it at about $6,000. If you guys can put your money in on that, I'll put the infrastructure in. And in return, I'll give you 2 years free rent. It's been a success for us, success for the people to come here. Now, when I take that back, has it been a success for us? It has, because we've been able to build homes. It has not because it's cost more than $6,000. It's probably half of what we used. So I've had to come up with half more to develop the land. So it cost about $12,000 per lot. Where'd it come from? Building these homes, right? And so I have to continue building homes and develop land and put people on these lots. And it's a tricky juggling act to keep going. And it's not something that you can rest on your laurels, that you can sleep in on Saturdays, and you can just forget about it and do something else. It doesn't work like that, all right? So to acquire land, just like I did as a young man, was a dream and a sense of worth. When I rent these lots out for $200 a month, I have in my mind right here, believe they may not think this, but my mind is that's yours. And I want you to feel like you own that lot. $200 a month is the lowest I've seen or heard of anywhere in the country. And I want you to stay there forever. Right? And I've done my best to do that. And I want you to have a feeling of ownership. If you had to pay $600 or $800 a month, It's, believe it or not, you're paying and you think you got to pay that rent, At $200 a month, I really feel like inside it's really nothing. In your head, you're just like, man, yeah, great. Thank you. I'm so glad to be here. This is my home, and this is what's happened. I've seen so many people here decorate their home, build decks, build additions, and make it so gorgeous because they feel like it's their home. And all I've asked them to do is give me $200 a month, right? I'll take care of roads and if a tree falls. And I've asked them to use a little app that you can get on your phone to pay, because we're not going to be able to have it saves us money instead of having somebody back here cashing the checks and going to the bank. But still there are people that still want to give us a check. And I'm hoping that you guys will help us by using that little app on your phone just to pay for our little rent that we ask you to charge, or ask you to pay. All right? So I've taken this land community and I'm saying, now, where can we go further? Just like the city park property. That's how we buy. Now, let me show you how this works. I go over here and I say, hey, there's a piece of land for sale, and I want to buy that. I don't have the money to buy it. How am I going to do it? I've got to ask you guys if you're interested. Will you like it? Well, I don't know if you'll like it or not, so let's try and see. So Randy and Amanda grabs the phone, holds it up there. I'm saying, everybody, here we got a piece of land. Would you like to be a part of it? Just like I did 3 years ago out in the forest. Hey, everybody, do you want to live here on this property? Do you want a community right here? And so I advertise it, right? And so we ask people, instead of $6,000 that was 3 years ago, because things have went up more, we're asking $10,000. That gets you on that lot, and you can stay there forever as long as you want for $200 a month. That's all I ask. So we don't own the land. So it's contingent on buying the land. And if the city and the county and the officials and all this stuff say, okay, Randy, you can do what you want to do. Well, the city park property fell through, and then I'm like, same day, I get a call, I get a text from a beautiful lady that had been texting me, and I'm like, I get a lot of texts, and I'm like, oh, okay, and she kept firing, and she grabbed my attention about some land, and about a city, and about how the mayor and some people and the city officials and stuff, they have an open mind and are really good people. And I thought, wow, that's unique. And sure, they didn't know what I was going to do. They didn't know what was going on. But you know what? They were good folks. They are good folks. And they want growth. They're progressive. So we go to Abbeville, and there's the same thing. There's some land. There's land all over the place. And I'm like, wow. I'm frustrated. Okay, how do I do this? I'm overwhelmed. My brain is just like, what do I choose? And I've got to choose land to develop as a community. And I don't want to take a year, and I don't have all the time in the world. And I've got to get all this going and rolling. And I'm thinking, all the people in Newport are so excited, and I felt so terribly, like I got to get them a place to stay because they're so excited about Newport. Well, then Abbeville just was so beautiful, and I was so excited. And I still am excited. And so I went down there, Amanda and I, we did a video of Abbeville, and I was just unbelievably blown away by the beauty of the community and the hospitality of the people. They remind me so much of East Tennessee. What do? You do like we normally do. I found land, I do a video, and I ask everybody, would you like to be a part of this community if we can swing it, right? If we can get all the contingencies, if we can get enough people, if we can pass the planning commission, the city council, and everybody that says, Randy, let's go. Who knows? There can be anything about the land that you buy. You never know. So that's where we stand in Abbeville. So right now we've acquired the land. I put a down payment on it. You know what I did is I put a non-refundable $20,000 down on that property. If I back out because of anything other than being turned down by the city council, I lose $20,000. And I think that's only fair to the people we're buying land from. They're holding that. Now, that's still on the market. Somebody could offer it. Somebody goes in there and buys that land. I've got first rights to cash out and say, hey, I'm going to just go for it before I get city council approval because I don't want to lose that land. We'll see. It's just, that's where I'm at. I'm up in the air. I don't know what's going to happen. Right now, Abbeville we're putting into a meeting with the city council planning, the city planning. The city planning is going to meet. They convene when is needed. They don't have a monthly meeting, so they're going to try to see if we have enough information and if there's enough whatever they got to have. I don't even know what they're asking. We've given them all the information we can. They will convene, or they will have a meeting, and then we will go to the meeting and present our case and see what they think about us. And then if they want to go any further, then we go before the city council. The city council will have a meeting, and I'll stand there and I'll say, am I pretty enough to have you guys have me in your town? And then they'll say yes or no. Then we can close on our property. Hopefully we'll have enough participants to purchase the property and move on. $200 a month on 44 acres in a beautiful little southern town. That's the story of how I do property. All right? So there you have it. I'm hoping that in Abbeville we get about 200 homes, 200 people, and that's all I want to put on that community. Now I could put a lot more on it, but I've used the square footage on Abbeville that the city planner told me right now in the codes, or the zoner, the guy in charge of zoning, said in the city, they have 6,000 square feet per house. That's the minimum. That's 80 by 80. That's actually a little bit more than 6,000 square feet, 80 by 80. That's a big lot. I don't have lots anywhere around here for 80 by 80. The biggest lot we have is 50 by 60 in the forest and the prairie. So I'm wanting to stick to those square footages. If that's what they would prefer, that's great. And you know what I want? I want it to be beautiful little town, or beautiful little community. That has that little waterfall and a creek through it. It's going to be gorgeous, everybody, if we can still do it. But I just wanted to let you know that it's still contingent, right? And so we go back to my earlier story about land, about what it is to have land. And still today, even from our pioneers and the people that settled this country, the biggest, the best, the most important thing that a person can acquire is land. And I try to acquire land, and it is still hard. You still have to jump through hoops. I still get opposition. I get opposition. I get an opposition from Abbeville. I get opposition from Nevada. I get opposition here in Newport. Because you cannot please everybody. But what you do is you just keep forging forward, right? You keep going, you keep pushing, you keep doing what's right, and you're hopeful that it comes out. And you try not to let it get into your personal being and have peace in your life. Because you got to realize why you're really here on this earth and what you're trying to do. And you got to rest in that. So I try to rest in who I am and what I'm doing. And if it doesn't work out, it doesn't work out. I'm working as hard as I possibly can. And that's where you have it, right? So I'm hoping that Abbeville will come through, and we'll let you know. And what we're doing now is we're not doing any more videos because we've shown everything there is of that gorgeous, beautiful little town. And we've done nothing but try to promote the goodness of the people, the structures, the politicians, and everybody there. It has been nothing but a compliment to everybody in that little town. The next thing is Nevada. Now, when I'm out in Nevada, I bought the land already. It was 15 acres, $75,000. Pretty good deal. So I bought it, and we had I think we got 5 or 6 people interested, and there's people every single day wanting to get in on Nevada. All right? Now, it has no utilities, and are we having opposition? Yes, we are. We're having opposition. We got a landowner right next door to that property that wants to build a big, beautiful home. There's no restrictions. We can do whatever we want, and that person's mad at us and is doing all they can to put a wrench in our plans. What we're going to do is the best we can, keep going. We also got some people in the little town of Crystal that didn't like who we are. They don't like shaking up. Anywhere you go, everybody, there's going to be somebody not like what you're doing. So I've got some resistance that I've got to work through in Nevada. I'll be heading out there Wednesday of this week, flying back out to look at Nevada. We got our well approved. The water is wonderful. We got 2 acres of water rights. We're going to set a well. I'm going to set a pump. I'm getting IPP out there. I'm taking my home, and I'm bringing some Incrediboxes, and we're going to build a western town out there. All right? That's my goal. That's what I'm planning to do. We own it. Paid for and done. So whoever's opposed to that, I'd love to be your friend. I'd love to talk to you. and you're not going to believe how cute and beautiful this place is going to be. It is not going to be a landfill. I think it's going to be an asset to the community of Crystal. All right. I'm also looking some land in Lake Havasu. A gentleman's got some acreage he asked me to come and look at, and he has a dream of affordable housing. I think that's wonderful. And we're going to try to do that the same way. So everybody, I wanted to show you that even though you need, even though I'm building homes and what I'm doing, we have to have communities because the country is still not conducive to tiny homes. They say, oh, you can put an ADU in the backyard, but it has to be on a permanent foundation, and you got to have inspections as you go. You're just building another house is all you're doing. They're not letting you pull a tiny home in the backyard and parking it. We had a home sold in California. It was a big Birmingham. Gorgeous. The guy loved it. He was going to put it in his backyard 80 miles from San Diego out in farming country. Told him he couldn't do it. He was so disappointed. So we sold it to a lady way up in Northern California. Now, what we found out is there's people wanting some more of our tiny homes. And that's what I wanted to do. I got out in California and I said, I know these homes look like the way these people like to have some homes. So we're seeing some success out there. That's a long ways away, but we got our ways of how we're going to fulfill the orders out in California. So, but when it comes to land, we also have our 160 acres across the street. Yes, and that's called the mountain. The first section of the mountain was the sweet spot of the mountain, right? And we put 85 lots on the sweet spot. And then from here on, and I'm going to show you a map right now. I've got a topo map posted on this wall right here. And I want to give you an idea of where we're going with the rest of this land. So just to let you know, we've got land that we're looking at, not for sure yet, but we're taking deposits because we got to know, hey, how many people? We've got to have people that want to go to Abbeville. And we're on it full bore. They love us. We're great. We feel 100% on. So come on, let us know what you're doing. Support us in this community, and you guys will have this beautiful community for $200 a month. So we got Abbeville. We get Nevada. Nevada is a special breed of people because it is off-grid, right? Off-grid. And we're going to learn more in the future, in the next weeks to come, about that community and what we're going to do and how we're going to make that happen. But I'm super excited about going to Nevada and being with people that have that kind of grit in life, that want to live in the desert and live off-grid, 100%. I just think it's an exciting time. And then we still have our mountain here in good old Newport, Tennessee, right? Newport, Tennessee is East Tennessee, is my home, it's where I live, it's where I love home. And even though I've fallen in love with the desert and I've fallen in love with Abbeville, South Carolina, which is near the beach, 3 hours from the ocean, which I'm an ocean guru. I love the ocean, right? But East Tennessee is where my heritage is from and where I'll always be. This is where I'll always call home. Let me show you this right here. And this right here is the mountain. This is the rest of it. Now right here, right down here, is where you have 85 lots, right? You come in here, and these little lots are scattered all up and through here, and up to the mountain. It stops, comes back. There's one little road that they don't have on here, which is right here. It circles around this topo line and stops. Just this few lots here. Now, that's 85 lots. Look at the rest of this. Look at the rest of this land. You see that? And I have walked all this land at least 8 or 10 times. Not only have I walked up the hollers, this is a holler. You see these little lines here? These are topo lines, right? And they're 25 feet elevation. So from here to here is 25 feet high. I think, was it? No, it's 10 feet. I'm sorry. So from here, it rises 10 feet. See, that's pretty flat. But over here, it goes 10 feet in that little bitty distance. That means it's pretty steep. And when you get right here, it's real steep. See that? And here's even steeper because they're closer together. Okay? But if you come back here, how we build homes and build roads is we follow these contour lines. So you're going to crisscross one, and as you crisscross them, you're going up in elevation, and I'm going to get where, oh, that's too steep. Look how see how they go too steep? So we're going to have to cut back, and we're going to cross them lines at a diagonal. Now, these are really wide. That means there's a holler in here, and there's a lot of good flat land. So we're going to come up around that holler, and we're going to come around this ridge right here. We're going to follow this contour line, and look, we're going to come back around, and then we're going to come and tie into that road right there, right? And that's how you build on mountains, and you follow these contour lines. So what I'm going to do is I'm going to make roads. Look at this beautiful ridge right here. Look how big and flat that ridge is right here. And then you got this ridge, and then you got this holler through here. There is some, look at this one. This one's huge. We've actually got a little road that goes right back in here and stops, and we can access this whole, and then down here's a holler. And I've walked through every bit of this. I've walked this way. I've walked this way. I've walked every way you can walk on that property. So I know almost every square inch of that property right there. And there's some just, I mean, exciting pieces of property there. And what I want to do with that property is I want to section it all off. I want to develop it, and I want to put lots on it for you guys to live on. All right? Let me turn this thing. This is my problem, my camera. My tripod broke. There you have it. That's the mountain. So what I'm trying to tell you guys, some of the people, if you want, Abbeville, we're doing the best we can. We'll keep you posted. We want to go that route. We're excited. They're excited. But you know, you've got to go through the political steps to get anything done. We still need people that want to go to Abbeville. I still need people that want to go to Nevada. And we need people that want to come over here to Buffalo Creek. And that's the creek that goes up on the mountain in the back part of that. All right? So if something happens to Abbeville and we get shot down or voted out or whatever it is we're going to do, we got the mountain. So I want to tell you that you do have an alternative. If you guys don't want to go to Abbeville, I mean, if we can't go to Abbeville, we can't do that. We're going to kill this mountain. All right? Now, some people might be saying, the 85 lots, Randy's taking a whole long time. I don't got that kind of time. You know what, everybody? Neither do I. We've been hit with COVID. We've been hitting with a lot of stuff on this. We've been hitting with the growth of more lots. People were more excited, and then it just became overwhelming for us. Now that we know what we're doing and we know how to go about balancing the construction of the roads and the houses and all that stuff together, over the course of that being built, we went ahead and got the Amish here. It's been 2-3 years. We've formed a relationship with the Amish community that we can produce homes now. We've also developed the Incredibox since that's been going on. There's been a lot going on to just build the company. So the further that I see the future is that we can't survive taking too long time of developing land. And because of that, I've talked to our excavators and other excavating companies to come in here, and we are going to just completely do sections like an army. We're going to come in there, we're going to just take it up and done. Another big reason that's taken a while is we had some massive engineering. All right, we have to actually take the city sewer and come up a state highway. I think it's a county road. Come up a county road, and we got to put pumps. We have to run the sewer line. We got to go underneath the road. We got to get that had to be engineered. Then the sewer had to be engineered, and it was just everything is just taking too long. Now that we have all that on the property, I mean, we're in the process of doing that right now. But now that we'll have all that on the property, we got the electrical, we got the sewer, we'll have the water. I got water tap lines, everything's there. When we run up in the mountain, now what we do, we just connect and go. All right. We've already set preliminary plans for our sewer with the city here, and we've already said, hey, this is our preliminary plan of where we're wanting to take all this and how many homes we can take and what the system can handle. And they've told us how many homes that we can build unless we want to upgrade the entire system down Industrial Road. All right, so with that said, I hope that you guys are excited about the mountain like I am, excited about Abbeville like I am, and Nevada, and maybe the other communities that will pop up in the future for us. For me to build other communities in other states is not time consuming. It's not something, I guess what I want to say is we can handle it as a company and we can keep track of it, because it's acquiring land. It's asking you guys if you want to live on that land. And if you do, we ask the city, the county, hey, will the rulings help? Can we make it happen? And if we can, then we take your all's deposits and we put the infrastructure in, and then we build it. It's really quite simple. So to end this video, when I started out about building a tiny home and how easy it was for me physically, mentally, just to build a beautiful tiny home that looks aesthetically nice to the city officials and the inspectors and people that have, I want to say, concerns that the homes are edifying their property, neighbors. I think we've accomplished that in our construction. Now I think we're accomplishing that in our communities where we're building home lots, lots for homes. And I think we've acquired it. I think we've acquired how to do it and where to do it and how to tell you guys about it. So, here in Tennessee, the forest, the beach, the prairie, and the grove, $6,000 got them in. They got 2 years free rent. Wow, what a deal, right? And it cost me twice that to put them in. And give you two years free. I gave your money back, so really it cost me the full amount. But as the rent comes in, then I want to add to these communities here. We've got 2 remote control gates we're going to put in. I'd like to put a beautiful meeting lodge here, and that's coming. People are asking me for. There are people that say, they shake their head and say, Randy will never do what he's going to say he's going to do, never going to do. You know what? Even if I never do it, $200 a month, you're getting what you paid for, right? I have ambitions to plant beautiful palm trees in the beach. I got ambitions to do a lodge over here. I got ambitions to put the 2 remote control gates, one for the forest and one for the prairie. I got all these aspirations. We're going to turn the grove into a beautiful, just nothing but trees and trees and trees. And then I hope in 5 to 10 years, there's so many beautiful trees and flowers that the place is just nothing but blooms in the spring, This is what I want to do. So everybody, I hope this is enough information for you to believe in who I am and believe in who our company is and where we're going. I wanted to, I was inspired by history, and I've been reading a little bit of history on some of the people in history and what people have gone through to become what they didn't mean to be famous, or they didn't mean to do what they were doing. They just did it because they had a drive and a passion and a purpose. And I've been inspired by just individuals, men and women, that have been able to change the course of our country because of their determination and their passion. And I really feel like we can do that. I'm about affordable housing. I've fallen in love with affordable housing. It is a goal of mine. It is just a passion that I have. I'm going to make a living building affordable housing. I'm going to have a company that will make money building you guys affordable houses and building you all affordable homes, places to put your home, affordable communities. These communities, I want you to feel like you own them. And I want you to feel like you have pride where you live. If we go to Abbeville, that Abbeville community is going to look and feel just like their beautiful, quaint downtown. Because in 100 years from now, I hope that little tiny home community is respected and looked at and has a history, said, wow, these people had a dream and a vision because they needed a place to live. And it wasn't just shantytown. It was an asset to the community, right? Well, that's what I want to do across America. I want to build more homes because I feel like there are people out here that still need affordable housing. Our economy is going through a mess. People are scared about the banks crashing. They're scared about investing in anything. I'm telling you that I'm trying to do this the most rock solid possible way, that when you give money to a project, it's not going to go bankrupt. It's not going down. Our homes are built. The money is there, and we've proven it over the years that when you invest in us, we pay cash for our property, you buy your house, you put it on it, and it's done. It's locked. No matter what happens, I die, the company goes under, whatever happens to the country, you got a home, and you got a lot to put your house on, all right? You're safe, and you're secure. So whatever you need to know more about that and the legalities and our contracts, then who I am as a person. Normally, investors invest in companies where they know the owner, they believe in the owner and the product and how they handle things. I've always said my door's open at 850 Industrial Road. If you want to come here and you want to talk to me or you want to tour this place, you just make an appointment. Don't just drop in. But I say all that just to prove to the fact that we are who we say we are. All right? All right, everybody. Thank you so much. I appreciate it. I do feel like I'm a pioneer back in the 1800s. I feel like I'm pioneering through this beautiful country of ours. And I'm forging like Lewis and Clark. And I'm finding land, and I'm finding people, and I'm finding the most odd animals and people that you've ever met. And I'm so excited about what this country has. And I'm so excited about the future and where we're going. So if you have a little bit of bravery in you, and you have a little bit of a wild hair, and you want affordable housing, you buy one of these houses out here for $25,000. You put $10,000 down on the community, and you got $200 a month. That's it. Done. And you can put an add-a-box on it for another $15,000 and add a bedroom as you get a little bit more money. You put a little sweat equity in it, and then you can turn around and sell that thing years later if you want to for a profit, or you can just keep your little happy little self right there and grow old and feel good that you're out of debt and you got a safe place to live. All right, everybody. I'm Randy Jones with Incredible Tiny Homes. I hope this video has shared with you who I am, where I'm going, and I hope it's excited you in our vision of where we're going as a company. Thank you very much. I gotta hit this little button here. All right, see you.